Hello and welcome to Think Lead's Backstage Pass. I'm Hugh Dixon, Senior Industry Head at Google, and I'll be your host. Think Leads is happening right here in London today and is one of a series of exclusive events happening globally. I'm really excited to bring you behind the scenes and give you your Backstage Pass. Let's take a look at what we have for you today. First, we'll kick off with our keynote speaker, David Black, Managing Director for Finance, Automotive Services and Travel. He's going to help us set the scene on how Google is building for the future to power growth for our lead gen advertisers. I'll then discuss the future of measurement and search excellence with Mimi Forsyth and Lydia Azaret, when we'll be diving into how clients can best navigate the complexities that they face with their lead to sale journeys. Following that, Sagar Shah and Caroline Militello will be deep in conversation about beyond search and how to unlock the full potential of Google AI. So, now that you have your Backstage Pass, get ready for exclusive comments from our experts right after they come off stage. Plus, we'll have some actionable insights I know you won't want to miss. Enjoy the show.
Hello everyone and welcome. I'm David Black, Managing Director at Google. Marketers are the fuel in the engine of the global economy. Every lead you generate keeps a business growing, keeps people in jobs, keeps innovation alive. And backed by AI, you and your teams are now able to augment this work in new and exciting ways. What does this mean for your customers? It means you're there for them when they need you the most. You're offering them trust, expertise, and clarity in a sea of noise. From choosing a university to moving house to planning your financial future, these are all carefully considered, potentially life-altering purchases. At work, it might be about finding the right technology to invest in, learning about relevant financial services, or deciding which legal firm is the best fit. These are all big decisions, and they start with you. From the comfort of your desk, your workspace, your laptop or your desktop, this Backstage Pass is about learning to prepare you for what lies ahead in 2026 and beyond. Get this, the average UK consumer interacts with over 110 mobile touchpoints a day. That's the equivalent of us having some sort of digital experience every 9 minutes that we're awake. So what are we doing? We're searching, streaming, scrolling and shopping, sometimes all at once. And luckily we get a front row seat to all of this happening in real time. Google is the only place where all of these activities are occurring from the same potential lead across all of our platforms. In fact, 65% of your customers find the path to purchase simpler on Google properties. Independent research tells us that this is significantly higher than other online platforms. The reach, trust, and influence you find across Google platforms is unmatched. Every year, over 5 trillion searches globally happen on Google. Each one of these is a moment of curiosity, of intent, of people saying, I need something. But here's the interesting part. How people are searching is completely changing, thanks to Google AI. In fact, Google Search is the largest generative AI product in the world. That's because AI Overviews has more than 2 billion users. They're driving more queries and higher quality clicks, which is really exciting. And that takes me to AI Mode, which has over 100 million monthly users, and that number is growing every day. Deep Search, a new feature in AI Mode, gives deeper, more contextual answers to complex questions. For marketers, this means new opportunities to show up with richer, more relevant content as customers research their options and dig deeper into what's right for them. This is all relatively new, but already 58% of customers say AI Overviews makes their decision-making process faster, easier, and less overwhelming. So your customers are adapting fast and taking advantage of these new ways to search. It creates huge opportunity for your business and your growth. In the US, they've been piloting ads in AI Overviews and experimenting with them in AI Mode. As we work on this, our goal is to reach the best model for both users and advertisers. That means high quality, helpful content and ads that truly match user intent. Now, what happens when you add YouTube into the mix? Well, you're improving performance where it counts. Because when marketers combine Google and YouTube, they see a 21% higher ROAS than all other media channels combined. Remember, YouTube's audience is unique and valuable. It's one of the most effective places to reach potential customers when intent is high and attention is real. And with new AI-powered tools, it's performing better than ever, driving measurable, high-quality leads and real business growth. For advertisers, YouTube continues to deliver both reach and precision. And so this is what it means to think leads. To be present where your customers are, to think bigger about the growth you can drive, and to lead your business towards a future none of us could have imagined just a few years ago. So please, enjoy the show, enjoy learning, and see you soon.
What an incredible opener to this year's Think Leads Backstage Pass. To continue the momentum, I'm joined by two product experts in measurement and search excellence. Lydia and Mimi, welcome both.
Thanks, Hugh.
Thank you.
Our advertisers are well aware of the complexities that they face and today in the lead gen business. Lydia, would you like to kick us off by telling us what's happening in the world of lead gen?
Yeah, absolutely. So lead gen advertisers really face a unique set of business challenges that advertisers selling products online simply don't. So I really like to think about this in three key ways. The first being what we like to call the lead nurturing maze. It refers to this long lead to sale journey that customers take. They're typically researching online. That's where those initial touch points happen. And then going through the long throes of research, maybe conversation with friends and family, until they ultimately make a purchase, which typically happens offline for lead gen advertisers. And so this leads me to the online-offline disconnect. As I mentioned, those initial research touch points tend to happen online, which makes them really easy to measure. But as that journey transitions to offline, it becomes more and more complex to figure out how to use that data to understand the full user journey. And so that leads me to my final point, which is the data silo struggle. So as you can imagine, that journey starting online, ending offline, so many different systems are measuring all of those touch points, and it's really difficult to figure out how to bring all of those systems together, not only to understand your full user journey, but to figure out how to optimize your marketing performance.
I think this is one of the key problems for lead gen customers. This idea is not as simple as clicking on add to cart and adding value there, but instead of having different values to this maze, as you call it. If this is the case, how can our advertisers find their way through this complexity?
I'm happy to take this one. So what Lydia touched on with the lead to sale journey is the most critical starting step for an advertiser that we are working with in Google Ads. So we want to make sure that we have a deep understanding of what that lead to sale journey looks like, both those online and offline touch points, so that we can make sure advertisers are tracking as much as they can and optimizing to the right point in the funnel. What this allows us to do is really set the foundation to maximize results with your online campaigns. So for the sake of example, if you're working with a B2B tech advertiser, oftentimes what they really care about is a contract signed or a qualified lead. But if that advertiser is today optimizing to a lead submit, we're gonna do our job really well and find more of those leads, right? But it's not always going to mean that those leads translate to quality. So what we would recommend in that case is mapping that lead to sale journey and ideally optimizing to some deeper event in that lead to sale journey to really drive those higher quality results. And what we typically recommend is that advertisers are optimizing to an event that occurs roughly at least 15 times a month and also occurs in some relative recency related to the ad interaction, that click or that view. And that will make sure that the bidder has enough fresh data to work with to find more of those types of users. So even in an aggregator business model where we know that advertisers tend to lose visibility in that later stage of the funnel, mapping the lead to sale journey remains critical because it allows that aggregator to understand where they have sufficient data to do their optimization. So again, just going back to the challenges and really mapping that to how to find success in Google Ads, it's about mapping that lead to sale journey as a foundational step so that we can make sure you're getting the most out of your marketing by optimizing to the right stage in that journey to find high quality leads.
So imagine I'm an advertiser. My first step is to map out my lead to sale journey, both online and offline. I know best practice is to feed all these data touch points back to Google. But what are the consequences of not doing this? Will my smart bidding strategies just be less efficient, or will they fundamentally fail to optimize for high value leads because they're flying blind to what happens offline?
Yeah, I can actually take this one, Mimi. So you really hit the nail on the head. That's exactly right. Without enough data, you simply won't be able to drive high quality leads. And so this is really where we like to think about optimizing for data strength. And this is creating a holistic, durable measurement foundation to steer AI with all of the right data signals to get the most out of your performance. So one of the key points we like to talk about is bringing in first-party data. This can be hashed email, phone number, address, with those offline touch points. We've seen advertisers achieve a median conversion uplift of about 10% just by doing this. And this is because it feeds AI with richer data signals than just click-level data. And so, as you're trying to digest what it means to build a durable, strong measurement foundation, there are really 3 key things you should think about. First is bringing all of your data sources into your ads platform, whether this is CRM data, app data, call data, connect all of that data to your ads platform. The next would be strengthening that data with durable first-party data signals. So I mentioned earlier, hashed email address, phone number, physical address. The other signals we like to talk about are bringing in IP address and session attributes. And then finally, once you've built that strong measurement foundation, this is when you really get to take advantage of Google's signals. This is where you get to steer our AI, set up campaigns that really drive the highest quality and the most leads to boost your marketing performance.
Thank you. So we heard from David in our keynote that there are a myriad of ways that Google is preparing advertisers for these complexities. Mimi, could you touch upon some of the key launches we've seen this year?
Sure. So one of the things we're most excited about in lead gen and in search bidding in particular is a feature called Smart Bidding Exploration, which is currently in open beta. So this is one of the biggest tech innovations for bidding that we've seen in the past year. And what it does is allow you to expand your searches to find new sources of traffic that you might not have known existed before, right? And as we talk about constantly that user behavior is changing, this is really allowing you to meet customers where they are, regardless of what the query is. So expanding the traffic that you find using your existing targeting settings. And we found that advertisers who are leveraging exploration are seeing on average a 19% uplift in conversions.
Of course, we couldn't talk about Google's 2025 product launches without talking about AI Max.
Of course. And I'm happy to touch on what AI Max brings, which is really about AI-powered targeting and creative to your existing search campaign. So we often talk about this as a one-click solution because truly it is a very simple toggle in your existing search campaigns to turn on this automation. And so in this landscape where user behavior is evolving and changing, we're increasingly seeing longer queries, more complex queries, and we really want to help advertisers prepare to meet those customers where they are. In addition, what AI Max is really setting the stage for is helping advertisers to prepare to show up in new experiences, right? We're talking a lot about the evolution of the search page to show AI overviews and AI mode, and AI Max is really going to help prepare advertisers to show up in those experiences as they become available in respective markets. So again, this is a setting that will help auto-generate assets and really expand your targeting to get you more sources of high-quality leads. We're seeing for advertisers that use this, there's about a 27% uplift in conversions on average, all at a similar cost per customer.
Okay, that's pretty amazing. Now, let's look forward to the future. I'd love to hear about some of our upcoming product launches. Lydia, let me start with you. What can we look forward to in the world of measurement in the near future?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot going on in the measurement space, so we're really excited for the upcoming year. Earlier, you heard me mention about the importance of connecting all of your offline data sources to your ads platform. So the first product launch I'd like to talk about is Data Manager. We have been beta testing the Data Manager API for the past year, just recently moved it into general availability. You should really think about Data Manager as your one-click tool to connect all of your offline data sources to your advertising platforms. Whether this is your CRM data or other offline data sources, Data Manager should make it as simple as possible to connect those and bring them into Google Ads. The next launch that I'll talk about is related to those first-party data signals I talked about earlier and how important it is to bring all of that rich data signal into your ads platform to steer AI. So session attributes and IP address are 2 new signals we've introduced and encourage lead gen advertisers to start bringing in along with those hashed email address, phone number, and address information that we've been working with for the past few years. And then the last launch I'll talk about is related to conversion diagnostics. So our lead gen advertisers are hopefully already using enhanced conversions for leads, which is bringing in their offline conversion data with hashed email address, phone number, or address. And we have conversion diagnostics already that help advertisers diagnose any implementation issues. We've recently introduced a few key improvements to those diagnostics that should make it even easier for advertisers to self-troubleshoot and get that 10% median uplift as soon as possible when implementing enhanced conversions for leads.
Thank you. And Mimi, what can we look forward to in the world of search?
What I'm really excited about is that our roadmap reflects advertiser feedback and feedback that we've gotten from teams like yours. So starting with AI Max, while it's really driving incredible results for advertisers, we've heard a lot about the need for more controls to help steer the AI to align with brand guidelines and really to drive the types of results that advertisers expect. Starting with targeting in AI Max, in addition to negative keyword targeting, we are building ad group level location targeting to help support any geo-specific context that advertisers are looking for. For brand targeting, we are fact-checking any generated assets against the landing page, again, to ensure that brand guidelines are met. We are also beta testing text guidelines to allow advertisers to specify certain terms, phrases, or concepts to exclude from those assets to make sure that brand guidelines are met. And finally, what I'm really personally excited by is innovations that we're gonna start to see in our lead form ads product. So Hugh, as you know, this is one of the truly purpose-built products that we have in our suite for lead gen advertisers, right? The lead forms that we embed directly in search ads. And so what we will see coming up in Q4 pilot is an agentic experience where you can have an advertiser branded agent interact with users as a first point of contact. What this allows you to do is ask qualifying questions and really pre-vet those leads before it gets generated. And that's going to inherently increase engagement of your users and also increase the quality of your leads. And then something we've heard a lot of feedback on with lead form ads adopters is around phone number verification. So this might not be the most exciting thing, but it really is an important thing, right? To make sure that the phone number that's input actually belongs to the user providing it. So we will start rolling out a pilot also this quarter for one-time password verification of phone numbers. This, we believe, is really going to help bring up the quality of leads and validate the user as they are submitting that lead. So both of those lead form ads innovations are going into pilot this quarter, and we hope to scale early next year.
It's great to hear so much of our customers' feedback is now incorporated into our products. Thank you, Lydia and Mimi, for your amazing insights into measurement and search excellence. With AI Max being just the beginning, lead gen advertisers have a lot more products to play around with for the next year. Next up, we're going to listen to Sagar and Caroline as they debrief their breakout session from today, all about Beyond Search.
Oh, man, that was great.
I mean, that was a really cool session. Just so many interesting questions.
Yeah, the audience was really engaged and a lot of questions around AI campaigns and all the innovation. So yeah, really, really nice.
Yeah, I mean, AI is the word of the day.
Truly, it really is. Yeah. Do you want to maybe kick us off and tell us a little bit about all the work that your team's been doing around lead quality?
Speaking of AI, right, as advertisers think about letting AI do more of the work for them or help them find sort of that next like high quality lead, the question does come up, you know, what is the quality of leads that I'm going to get? Am I going to have to sift through, you know, a bunch of like low quality leads to find like the real nuggets that will actually like work for my business and convert? And so we know that this is top of mind, and it's especially something that comes up as advertisers think about expanding the reach of their campaigns. And so, you know, there's a ton of work happening in this space. There are bad actors in the system. And so over the last several years and going forward, we definitely sort of have backend protections in place to make sure that the traffic that AI is finding is high quality traffic and does result in high quality leads. In fact, just this year, we've reduced sort of the amount of invalid traffic in our system by more than 40%.
Wow, 40% is a big number.
Yeah, I mean, it's great and testament to sort of the hard work of all of the engineers working on this. And we just want to double down, and we want to make sure that we continue to sort of stay one step ahead and create value.
That's great. Yeah, and I know, you know, the advertiser your team can only do so much, right? And there's also actions that the advertiser can take. I believe, the main one here being that actually optimizing campaigns to the lower funnel conversion action, right? So the deeper it is, maybe it's offline. You heard a lot about measurement today too. If we can do that, that's gonna help drive higher quality leads. So I think that's the key thing. I think, other actions advertisers can take though is having reCAPTCHA on the website, maybe one-time passwords as well. Your team's doing so much on the back end, but definitely actions that the advertiser can take.
Yeah, I mean, the more advertisers do to sort of augment like what our systems are doing on the back end, I think the better the outcomes for everyone.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I think maybe to switch gears a little bit, we talk a lot about AI Max and what it can do for search excellence, and advertisers are familiar with search. I'd love to hear about demand gen campaigns and the benefit of demand gen campaigns.
Yeah. We talked about what demand gen campaigns are earlier today. So maybe I'll touch a little bit about the key use cases, right? So I would say we see 3 key use cases for demand gen. The first is social-like KPIs. So if an advertiser is seeing success on social, it's a great way to replicate this and scale it. You can even lift and shift assets to get started quickly. The second one is going beyond search. So if they've really maxed out search, trying to expand reach, trying to generate that demand, this is a great way. Demand gen is a great way to do that. And then the third one is if an advertiser needs strict control. So with demand gen, you can target your creative, audience, and channel. And so if your business has strict controls that you need to follow, demand gen is another way to do that. So we see at lead gen advertisers using demand gen for any of these 3 reasons or more, but these are some of the main ones we see.
That's pretty cool. That seems like a really powerful set of tools. Tell me, a little bit about, so demand gen has also been around for a couple of years. I'm curious to just hear your perspective on how that's evolved over time.
Yeah, I think the biggest, evolution probably arguably came this year with channel controls.
Yeah.
Where you can now target, what channel you show up on. So let's say you have great UGC, user-generated content, and you just want to show up on YouTube Shorts. You can now do that with demand gen. So we announced that at Google Marketing Live. Definitely a huge launch and really proud of that. And the second one is just overall performance improvements. So in the first half of this year alone, we had over 100 back-end launches that helped performance within demand gen campaigns. So those launches led to a 20% increase year over year in conversions or conversion value per dollar. So really seeing an uplift in the performance, getting more juice for your squeeze, you could say.
Yeah.
And then the third one is VTC optimization. So actually being able to bid to view through conversions in addition to click through conversions and engage view conversions. So this has really 2 benefits. The first being that it allows you to reduce performance fluctuations, increase scale, drive higher ROI. And then the second one is it allows you to bid at parity across advertiser platforms. So it's a way you can bid on other platforms, and now we brought this to demand gen as well, so it's easier to bid apples to apples.
That's really cool. That seemed like a really impressive set of launches.
It was, a really exciting year. Maybe I flip it back to you. Would love to hear a little bit about some of the PMAX launches that your team's been working on.
Yeah, where do I start? I think it's an exciting time to be working on PMAX. As you know, we launched PMAX a few years ago with the goal of really allowing Google's AI to find the best value and performance for advertisers across all of Google's media from a single campaign, right? So we want to make it really easy to set up the campaign for advertisers to give us their goals, their creatives, tell us sort of what's important to them, right? And what they really care about. And then just unleash sort of AI to be able to go and then find that value. It's especially important in today's world where there's just so much sort of dynamism in terms of how users are actually behaving. They go back and forth across channels, they're browsing, they're watching videos, they're searching, they're sort of going back and forth. And so PMAX is well positioned to sort of meet them at every step of that journey, just because we're sort of always on the lookout for how can you find that next high quality user, the next high quality conversion for you. And so that continues to be sort of the general tenor and philosophy behind PMAX. But then as we've also continued to hear feedback from the market around things like, hey, this is a black box, I want more of an ability to guide the AI and to sort of like control it. We have been sort of doubling down on a number of pillars to try and continue to sort of enhance and create value for advertisers. So the first pillar is just transparency. This is super important. We don't want PMAX to be perceived as a black box, and we want to sort of start to help advertisers understand what it's doing so that they can sort of take the right actions, and then also they can explain to their stakeholders, why PMax is behaving the way that it's behaving. Then you have controls, so that transparency with that controls is obviously a little bit challenging. But then on the control side, I think there's controls in different ways, sort of, as you think about how AI can unlock value. There's goals that you can set. You talked about ensuring that your post-lead data, that your sort of ground truth data is imported into Google Ads. That's sort of like really critical from a goals perspective. And we have sort of more advanced goals coming up. There are creative controls. Sort of brand look and feel is really important for advertisers, so making sure that our automation can keep that in mind and respect that, even as we're serving ads across all of these different placements. And then just targeting controls, right? Making it easier for advertisers to sort of be a little bit more in the loop and guide the AI. And then, of course, you can't forget performance, which is the last sort of like the third pillar here. It's in the name. We have to make sure that PMax continues to create value and deliver high quality leads.
Makes a lot of sense there. Do you want to maybe double tap on you guys had a really big launch this year. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about some of the big launches, specifically maybe around transparency?
Yeah. Gee, I wonder what you're talking about. Channel reporting in PMax certainly has been one of the highlights of the year, and is up there. In terms of launches, the team's very excited about it, and we've heard really good feedback from advertisers. For those who haven't seen it yet, this is basically, you can go into the Google Ads UI and you can see the different stats for all of the different channels that PMax is showing on. So things like impressions, clicks, conversions, conversion value across search, display, YouTube, Maps, Gmail, Discover. There's a lot of channels.
Yeah.
So channel reporting, super critical. We want to make sure that advertisers can understand how PMax is allocating their spend. In addition, and it's not just sort of the basic reporting, although we do have that, it'll be exportable and easily usable and so on. But we've also linked that to goals. So you can see how are different channels sort of driving different goals for you. And then we're also building in diagnostics. So if there's ways to improve performance on a specific channel, or let's say a channel is not serving because there's a policy issue on an asset, or there's something else, we'll use that as a medium to surface ideas for improvements to ensure that advertisers can continue to get the best of what they can. You asked me for like my sort of top launch, but I think there's a couple of other things maybe that are worth touching on. I think on the transparency side, we also launched the search terms report. So this has been around for search campaigns for a long time. It wasn't available on PMax until this year, and it allows the same kind of reporting in PMax for search terms that you get in search campaigns. And then that pairs very nicely with some of our control launches. Campaign level negative keywords are now available, and lists. And so you can, in conjunction with the search terms, you can sort of use these controls to sort of better guide the campaign. And then we also have a few more targeting controls, things like device exclusions that we're very excited about, and better device targeting. And same for like better demographic targeting, things like age and so on. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot happening, and we're pretty excited for our roadmap.
Yeah, that's a lot of launches. Seems like your team's definitely been hard at work, and some exciting stuff coming down the road.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Well, thanks so much for your time today.
I mean, thank you for your time.
Yeah.
This has been great, and just, so many launches.
Definitely. Looking forward to what's to come.
Yeah.
It's almost time to wrap up this amazing day we've had together at Think Leads. From the very beginning, Google's mission has been simple but bold: to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. That mission hasn't changed, but the way we deliver on it has evolved. We're giving anyone, anywhere, the confidence to make better decisions, whether that's through videos on YouTube or AI overviews in search. Whether that's buying their first home, choosing a financial product, or finding the right partner for their business. And that's where you come in. They engage more, they dig deeper, and that creates the most valuable kind of leads. This is what it means to think leads. To be present where your customers are, to think bigger about the growth that you can drive, and to lead your business towards a future none of us could have imagined just a few years ago. You have the smartest, most powerful tools at your fingertips, and we're on this journey with you, not just as your platform, but as your partner. Here are my top 3 takeaways from today. 1, the customer journey is complicated, but this complexity is creating new opportunities. The marketers who win are the ones who show up in the moments that matter. 2, AI tools are the key to higher value leads. AI is helping marketers find better leads, not just more of them. It's about understanding what people mean, not just what they say. 3, your data is your competitive edge. Use it to power AI and measure what really matters. Thank you so much for joining us at Think Lead's Backstage Pass. Before you go, we'll love to hear your feedback. In a moment, you'll see a QR code appear on screen. Scan it, submit it, and that's another lead completed. It's been a pleasure to be here, covering all the latest backstage news and views from market experts and industry leaders here in London today. Until next time, that's a wrap.